Hey folks, it's Maxie here and welcome to another TEW2020 video. You join us for some more AEW action as we're on the road to AEW Have a Nice Day, the pay-per-view that will be, of course, in name of our matchmaking director, Mick Foley. So delighted to have Mick on board. I think he's someone that's just going to help make the matches. I just prefer booking him with an authority figure. But we'll have him call it down the middle, so there'll be times he'll favour the faces and sometimes he'll give the heels an opportunity as well. So looking forward to that. Looking forward to a good show. Hopefully we can build up a good bit of the pay-per-view today in the first part of the episode, and then hopefully again in the second part. And yeah, and then hopefully have a good run to Double or Nothing as well. So as always, thanks for tuning in. It's very much appreciated. If you want to get social, you know what to do, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And of course, if you want to buy the game, links, etc., all in the description below. So without further ado, let's crack on. This is another episode of AEW Dynamite. So we've went full on AEW Dark here. We've got 6 pre-show matches to really give people some experience, get them improving their ring craft. So the first security field at Est Stadium, I think that's how it's pronounced. Saw a matchup that had not a lot of heat and terrible wrestling, but the team of Sonny Kiss and Joey Janela defeated the Dark Order's Alex Reynolds and John Silver in 7:35 when Sonny Kiss pinned Alex Reynolds with the sunny side up. 42 rated, Joey Janela carried the match in terms of in-ring performance. I think we'll have a lot of these kind of matches with Kiss and Janela. Joey Janela is actually really fairly over, good in-ring. Sonny Kiss in this requires a lot of development, but will certainly give as many opportunities as we can. And Reynolds and Silver do the job as enhancement workers that are very talented. So overall, happy with that. Next up, with a pre-show match that saw Darby Allin beat Brandon Cutler in 8:21 with a coffin drop. This was a 69, just really to make Darby Allin look really good against a very skilled opponent. Next up, with a pre-show match that didn't have a lot of heat and terrible wrestling. It was the team of Deonna Purrazzo, Chris Statlander and Kelly Ray, who defeated Jamie Hayter, Killer Kelly and Nyla Rose when Deonna submitted Jamie Hayter with a Fujiwara armbar. A 43 rated matchup here. Everybody pretty close in terms of performance, and a few there with a few fans not happy with them. Moving on, pre-show matchup that had good heat and decent wrestling with Sammy Guevara defeat Matt Hardy at 7:53 with a 6:30. A 44 for Matt, a 79 for Sammy, and a 68 performance for the Spanish God. And then we had the Hybrid 2 tag team of Jack Evans and Angelico defeat the Natural Nightmares in 7:07 when Angelico pinned QT Marshall with a Superman senton. That was a 59, so a bit better there from Angelico. And we had Kenny Omega take on Ilya Dragovich in 7:46. He wins with a surprising roll-up that Dragovich didn't expect. A 69 here. Evil Foreigner gimmick was only awful for Dragunov, which is not good. I feel like his overness will have him working pre-show matches and we'll have vignettes on the main show before we bring him to the main roster, or the main show effectively. Anyway, we start off this episode of Dynamite with your matchmaker saying because of the screwy finish, we are going to start Dynamite with a bang, and we are going to have an AEW World Title matchup between Hangman Page and Miro. So 72, Mick Foley's getting better at his gimmick, and we are straight off and running with a championship match. And in true not AEW fashion, we had fantastic heat and great wrestling as Miro drew with Hangman Page in 13:59 with a double disqualification because of Brian Cage attacking Hangman and Jacob Fatu attacking Miro. So both of the Titans straight in there attacking both the champion and challenger. So that was a 69 rated opening match. After the matchup, Miro and Hangman are just getting continually beaten down by Cage and Fatu. So what could the Titans want for the champion and challenger? That's a 76 rated segment. Then a decent matchup for the TNT Championship, and it saw Claudio Castagnoli defeat Ricky Starks in 7:26 with a neutralizer. Claudio Castagnoli makes defense number 8 of the TNT Championship. This garnered a 57. It's really one of those matches to effectively make Ricky Starks look good in defeat, give him opportunities to gain exposure in good matchups. We then had Ace Austin come out, obviously debuted at the pay-per-view Starfest, and he just says, "Yo big man, did you enjoy your beatdown? I hope you enjoyed being TNT champion, because with me and Big Lance Archer, it's not going to last much longer." It was a 64 segment. And then Matt Hardy, with a 45 rated segment. It's just him again saying how hard it is, how difficult it is to be Matt Hardy. Something needs to change in order for my career to progress. So keep an eye on that one. We then had a bout that didn't have much heat and terrible wrestling, and it was Hikaru Shida defeating Indy Hartwell in 6:35 with the Tamahashi no 3 count. Just a 31, which is disappointing. The fans don't really care for either worker, so we have to get them over. So hopefully some exposure this will help. Good to see though the fans that they weren't at least given verbal abuse to either worker, which is good. And a 31 shows there's a long way to go. And after this, Mick Foley confirms that obviously we'll have that tag team championship, and that Hikaru Shida will be in it. She has a tag team partner, and it is going to be the newly signed to AEW Mayu Iwatani. So looking forward to those two being a fantastic tandem in that division, and a 49 rated matchup segment. Hype package for Dragunov, get a 9, so that gives you an idea of how much we need to try and get him over, but it'll be a wee while until he debuts. We then had 6-man action, and wow, it's the first time I've seen the crowd go against a Luchasaurus. But the Jurassic Express defeated the team of Sabian, Kazarian and Avalon when Jungle Boy pinned Peter Avalon. So a 56 rated matchup here. Peter Avalon the worst in performance, but yeah, shocked that that came up for the Luchasaurus, because we've never really had that before. But just kind of giving a teaser of the kind of people that will be in the 6-man division, the Trios division. After the matchup, Marco Stunt is walking backstage, kind of gets in the way of Brody Lee, which leads to Brody Lee threatening to kick his ass. That was a 49 rated segment there. Then moved on, we had a decent matchup that saw the Titans defeat 2 of Hangman's Posse in the form of the Butcher and the Blade, and 5:59 when Brian Cage pinned the Blade with Machine Termination. This was a 64, pretty decent in that regard, with the Butcher being the weak link. After the matchup, Mick Foley has decided, fair enough, he's caused a lot of havoc tonight, but he's really impressed. So what I'm going to do for AEW Have a Nice Day, main event for the AEW World Championship, Fatal 4-Way, Miro, Brian Cage, Jacob Fatu, Hangman Page. So I just felt like the Miro Page match didn't work, so let's add in the Titans to give them their first big major opportunity. So Fatal 4-Way action at the pay-per-view. Then had Darby Allin just saying, yeah, he lost to Cody, but he feels restricted in the fact that it was just a regular matchup. If Cody's really got the balls, Cody will face him in a match of Darby Allin's choosing, where there will be no rules, which was a 78 rated promo. We then had a match that had some good heat and decent wrestling, as Orange Cassidy got the surprise victory over Wardlow in 10:01 with a super kick. Actually a pretty good 69, all things considered. Cassidy with a 74, Wardlow with a 49. After the matchup, MJF jumps in, him and Wardlow are beating down Orange Cassidy, and of all people it's Jon Moxley who comes down and saves Orange Cassidy from the serious beating. Of course, he's had his fair share of troubles with MJF and Wardlow. And after this, it leads to Jon Moxley confirming that he needed a partner to face MJF and Wardlow to get the opportunity to face MJF, so he is going to pick Orange Cassidy for that match at AEW Have a Nice Day. So that's also a 78, so we need the main event to deliver. Hoping it does, because it is quite an interesting main event. The Sex Gods come down to the ring in order to do some colour commentary, so they're going to scout this match. So Jericho and Guevara are on the mic, and the match itself was a 79, and it had superb wrestling and great heat, with the Young Bucks defeat Proud and Powerful in 15-11 when Nick Jackson pinned Santana with the Meltzer driver. A 79. What's some negatives that's cost us there? It is inconsistency in Excalibur. But yeah, giving the Bucks a good victory because obviously they're going to be challenging with Sex Gods. And after the matchup, we have a full Inner Circle beatdown on the Young Bucks. So Jericho, Guevara, Ortiz, Santana, Cash Wheeler and Jake Hager. A 6-on-2 attack to end the show as the Tag Team Champions stand. And it shows the alliance still with Ortiz and Santana despite a few issues previously. So a 79 there. A 78 overall. The show was pretty, I'd say, consistent in 78s and 79s, so I'm not really surprised that happened. But a 21 pop increase across the world's good. And it's a lot of the bases and groundwork laid up for that, as I say, pay-per-view coming up, that we can already say there's 3 or 4 matches that are already penciled in. We get the retirement of The Undertaker at the age of 56 in-game. Although imagine if I was WWE in this save, considering WrestleMania is always the first week of April in this. So that would have been quite... to be fair, 3 months worth of dates, so you'd be fine for WrestleMania. See, Dynamite struck gold with the show, good to see. Mischief has retired, and Eddie Dennis has got married to his long-term partner. And Lindsay Dorado's available. I should say as well, we didn't sign Noam Dar. He opted to re-sign with the WWE. 5-year deal for Brandon Cutler. Am I going to use him? Well, just to lose, but he's a very vital part of AEW IRL, so it's sense just to keep him on. Jericho says that Jungle Boy has poor ring psychology. Nick Jackson says Miro has poor ring psychology. And a 2.80 gives us our best TV rating to date. So, pleased with that. As we just continue to grow, as you say, there's a lot of areas in the world that we still a long way to go. But, we'll get there. So that's part 1. Let's crack on to next week's episode. It's the second episode of AEW Dynamite for the month of April. Takes place at the Alfred Lawson Jr. Multipurpose Centre and Teaching Gymnasium. Just over 9,000 fans, which is good to see. And we do our usual. We have a lot of pre-show matches, or version of Dark effectively. I had Wardlow defeat Matt Hardy in 6:30 with Splash Mountain. So a 52 rated match up here. What is up with Matt Hardy? That's obviously a long running story. And again, we'll make him look $1 million in victory. We had some 6-person action, and it was the team of Tenille Dashwood and the Natural Nightmares against the Dark Order. And it was the team of the Dark Order, Uno, Grayson and Priscilla Kelly, who picked up the win in 7:32 when Priscilla Kelly pinned Tenille Dashwood. A 57 is pretty good here, and really good to see that Stu Grayson was head and shoulders above the rest. Overall, not bad actually. A 57, crowd obviously not thrilled with Tenille, but will help her gain attributes. That's what these kind of matches are for. Terrible matchup that had Deonna Purrazzo defeat Leva Bates in 8:14 with a Fujiwara armbar. This was a solid 40, not too bad there. Good work at ringside by Peter Avalon, but we'll certainly take that as a result for them. Pre-show bout that had a decent reaction from the crowd, but subpar wrestling. Ricky Starks defeats Austin Gunn in 8:12 with the Buster Keaton. Simple. Gunn has some decent overness. We want that in Ricky Starks, so he picks up the victory on AEW Dynamite pre-show. Then had Tomohiro Ishii defeat Shawn Spears in 8:10 with the vertical drop brainbuster. A 61. Pretty good matchup there. Happy with that. And also, I believe this is the main event of the pre-show, where the Lucha Brothers defeat Sonny Kiss and Joey Janela when Pentagon Jr. pinned Joey Janela with a top rope Styles Clash. A 72 here. I felt like you give some winning momentum to Lucha Brothers, but I think a matchup like this can only benefit the development of Sonny Kiss, so hopefully some skills can be gained. Obviously, in a day and age now where we don't see that here, but still good to see. So we start the show with Hangman Page, and he's just talking and just berating Miro. Obviously we know it is going to be a fatal 4-way matchup. Come AEW, have a nice day. He just says, Miro's just a loser and he's going to prove again that he's a loser. So that's a 79 rated promo from Hangman. Miro then was in action, and it was about that had great heat and good wrestling. Brian Cage defeated Miro in 10-13 with the pump handle facebuster, a 67. The match had very little drama or flow to it, as nobody in the ring had the psychology to take control properly, so that's a bit disappointing. We did go for steal the show, so I thought this would be good, but if they don't have the psychology, they can't make something special happen. So a disappointing 67. Let's hope when they're in there with Jacob Fatu and Miro, Hangman Page, that they can make stuff happen. But overall, still delighted with the 67 for an opener. And after the match-up, the Titans beat Miro down. Hangman's obviously not going to help him. And that's a 69 rated segment, so delighted with that. As I say, it just makes these two look $1 million going forward. Next up, we had our first match in the AEW Women's Tag Team Tournament. In the first round, it was a decent match-up. So the team of Heidi Lovelace and Nikki Storm defeat Brandy and Shayna Baszler in 11:01 when Heidi pinned Brandy with the Heidi-Ho. Nikki, the carrier of the match, Brandy was a weak link. 62 is not too bad though. Don't get me wrong, in terms of in-ring performance, Nikki is a mile ahead. And it could have been a bit better. Obviously, Brandy and Shayna have absolutely zero chemistry, but for the storyline it made sense. So they're out in the first round anyway. Nikki could be a dual champion, which is quite cool to see. And the crowd's still not thrilled with Heidi Lovelace or Brandy. Moving along. It's a bit of a heated argument between Brandy and Shayna. That was a 56. And next up was hyping up a tag team we're going to see. And it's going to be Hikaru Shida alongside new AEW signing Mayu Iwatani. So looking forward to that tag team. To get Iwatani on board was quite good, as I say. I feel a lot of the women do need work in terms of their stats in this game, so hopefully we can help develop them. And I think tag matches and 6 women will certainly help them in terms of their development. Next up with a promo, it was Ali, Ashley Lane and Penelope Ford. That was a 48. This was basically Ashley saying about the likes of Ali and Penelope Ford and how they're going to go in this particular tournament. She thinks they're going to do well. And their matchup was against Sadie Gibbs and Yuka Sakazaki, and Penelope Ford wins in 8:25 with the pinfall victory over Sakazaki. So delighted with that. That's them into the second round, and that was a 40 rated matchup. So it's good to see the likes of, believe it or not, Sadie Gibbs and Yuka, the crowd are happy with. And in terms of skills, it's Penelope Ford and Ali that we need to look to develop. Despite them being the two more over workers, they don't quite have the attributes required. So that was a 40. Then about the decent reaction from the crowd at Terrible Wrestling. Ace Austin makes his in-ring debut, defeating Brandon Cutler in 6:25 with a fold. 55, nice and solid. And after the matchup, his big monster in the corner, Big Lance Archer, just destroys Brandon Cutler. So that's a 36. Mick Foley cuts a promo, just talking about it's really flattering and honouring that the pay-per-view is going to be named after him. Have a nice day. He's delighted to say there's been a massive acquisition signed to All Elite Wrestling, and we will do our best to make sure that doesn't get unveiled until the time is right. But some members of the Elite will have a very interested viewing of who that is. So that was a 69. MJF just have some more heat on John Moxley, just basically saying, doesn't matter mate, even if you've got Orange Cassidy on your side, you know, he's not even going to make it to be your partner, so I don't know why you picked somebody so soon, because I'm just going to target them and take them out, because you'll never get your hands on me. And that's an 83. Match itself was, it could have been a lot better. I think it's a superb matchup. Cassidy does defeat MJF by countout, still keeping MJF never pinned. It kind of gives that way where we have to protect the MJF here. I'm also kind of using this as a way to kind of fast track Orange Cassidy, maybe get to upper mid card. But it's difficult when you're trying to keep someone unbeaten, which they technically aren't now, but never been pinned, and that would in real life add a bit more heat to MJF going forward. Just disappointed it was a 68. After the matchup, usual, match is finished, Wardlow comes in, 2-on-1 assault, and then Jon Moxley makes the save and chases them off. So again, Moxley just can't get his hands on MJF, and that was an 80 rated promo, or segment. Pac then has a promo, just says to Kenny, you've had problems with the Lucha Brothers, well now you've got a problem with the Death Triangle. So we've crossed paths before, but united with my Lucha Brothers, you've got absolutely no chance, you and Creed. Next up, we had a promo, which was Le Champion, Chris Jericho, and the Spanish God, Sammy Guevara, the Sex Gods, cutting a promo on the Young Bucks. Obviously the Young Bucks are going to be challenging at Have a Nice Day for the belts, and it's just Jericho saying the numbers game will always be in their favour, the Inner Circle is as stronger and as united as it's ever been. That was in 82, so the promos have been good in this show, the matches not so much. And we are probably going to lose pop because I expected this match to draw well and it hasn't. Wow. We'll take a wee look into why this flopped. There's a lot to take in. And about that had fantastic heat and great wrestling, the Inner Circle, Chris Jericho, Sammy Guevara, Ortiz and Santana defeated the Elite, Cody, Kenny Omega, Matt and Nick Jackson in 21-22 when Chris Jericho pinned Cody with a codebreaker following interference from Darby Allin. A 74. Now Cody had to get protected because obviously he's way over and Jericho's in the 70s. You can tell the product's moving away from Jericho with him being the weak link, so yeah, it's not great for Y2J, but a lot of in-ring performances to be proud of. The Elite there, all 86 or 87, so that's good. A good performance from Sammy at 79. A lot of people benefiting, but yeah, I think it was maybe the tainted finish, Cody to be kept strong, that's obviously going to hamper it, and just Jericho's declining ability. I think probably looking about a 77 here, if we're lucky. I can now predict what we're going to get in terms of match overall ratings. But 77, the show increased their pop in 19 regions, so again we're struggling to kind of move forward in the US, but elsewhere not so much. So interestingly, because this signing is big, I don't really want to give it away. So we'll be ending the video there rather than the usual at the main screen. And that'll probably be the case until the person debuts. But thanks for watching. Let me know who you think it could be. They say they do have a history with the Elite, and it is a major signing. And yeah, it's really helping for what could be an absolutely spectacular card down the line for Double or Nothing. So thanks for tuning in. Stay safe, and hopefully see you soon for the next 2 episodes. And of course, the Go Home Show on the road to AEW. Have a nice day.